In a world shrouded in shadows and teeming with malevolent forces, prepare for an epic clash that transcends the boundaries of night and day. Dark Reckoning, Slayer of the Night. Witness the convergence of two iconic legends. As Batman, cursed by the vampiric embrace, finds himself entangled in a web of darkness. And Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a fierce protector of the innocent, stands ready to face the most challenging adversary yet. Gotham City and the supernatural realm collide in a battle that will redefine heroism. Get ready for heart-pounding action, unexpected alliances, and a confrontation that will test the limits of their strength. Dark Reckoning, Slayer of the Night. This is not just a battle between heroes, but a reckoning of eternal forces. Available now at your local comic shop. Dare to witness the darkness unfold.
Welcome to another episode of AI Writes. I thought today what I would do is give you a look into a couple stories that I had ChatGPT come up with. One, pretty serious, but the other one, pretty hilarious. Let's start with the serious one first. As I was walking today, I was like, what would be two neat characters to throw into a comic that would probably not normally be in a comic together? Initially, I was like, I want to grab something from DC Comics, but I want to also maybe use a character that isn't completely tied to comics. Today I was thinking Buffy the Vampire Slayer. A storied history out there in television land and in the movies. Actually, I remember seeing the movie first, in the theaters, mind you. But, obviously rose to popularity with the WB/CW. I don't know if it was CW at the time, but definitely the WB show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And to give you an idea of who Buffy is, Buffy the Vampire Slayer follows the life of Buffy Ann Summers, a young woman chosen to be a slayer, a supernatural warrior destined to fight vampires and other evil forces. Born in 1981, she was called to her role as a slayer in 1996 at the age of 15. She moved to Sunnydale after an encounter with vampires in Los Angeles and became the guardian of the Hellmouth, a center of mystical activity. Despite initially resisting her destiny for a normal life, Buffy eventually embraced her role. She formed a close-knit group with her friends known as the Scooby Gang and had romantic relationships with two vampires, Angel and Spike. Buffy had a unique journey, dying twice and coexisting with subsequent slayers, which disrupted the traditional slayer line. During a war with the first evil, she changed the rules by activating multiple potential slayers worldwide and closing the Hellmouth. After preventing a dimension-threatening event, she settled in San Francisco, continuing her slayer duties and eventually restoring magic to the world. She became a leader in managing magic's new rules, heading the Magic Council and exposing a conspiracy against supernatural beings. In a climactic battle known as the Reckoning, Buffy defined the future for slayers, altering history up to the 23rd century. So there you go. There's a little bit of a background on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Who or what comic book character would a crossover best be done with? I'm sure there's a ton out there. But my first thought was Batman from the Batman and Dracula trilogy. You guys may be familiar with the first of those books, which is Batman Red Rain. And to give you an idea, there's 3 books. Batman and Dracula Red Rain from 91, Batman Bloodstorm from 94, and Batman Crimson Mist from 1998. So let me give you an idea of these 3 books and what happens in them. In our first book, Batman and Dracula Red Rain, Batman investigates a series of gruesome murders of homeless people in Gotham City. He discovers that Count Dracula and his vampire family are behind the killings, and a rogue vampire named Tanya offers her assistance, enhancing Batman's strength with vampiric powers while allowing him to retain his humanity. Batman, aided by Tanya, lures the vampires into the Batcave and uses explosives to defeat them, sacrificing Wayne Manor in the process. Batman engages Dracula in an intense aerial battle, ultimately impaling him. However, Batman's act of destroying Dracula costs him his humanity, turning him into a full vampire. Despite this, Batman continues his mission as an immortal vampire. So you can kind of see where I was going with this. Let's talk about Batman Bloodstorm, 1994. The Joker recruits the remaining vampires from Dracula's horde after Dracula's demise. The vampires, under Joker's leadership, take control of Gotham's crime families. Batman, now joined by allies including a transformed Catwoman and Commissioner Gordon, leads a team of vampire hunters to eliminate the vampire threat. In the final showdown, Catwoman sacrifices herself to save Batman. Overcome by grief and bloodlust, Batman kills the Joker and turns to vampirism himself, realizing the danger he poses. Batman persuades Gordon and Alfred to stake him, ending his murderous spree. Batman and Crimson Mist, 1998. Gotham City is gripped by crime due to Batman's absence, and his rogues gallery of villains run rampant. Alfred removes the stake from Batman, hoping he can be Gotham's savior once again. However, Batman's vampiric thirst for blood drives him to kill criminals indiscriminately, plunging the city into chaos. Batman's allies, including Alfred and Gordon, team up with Two-Face and Killer Croc to stop him. In a final confrontation, Batman defeats Two-Face and Killer Croc, but is severely wounded. Alfred sacrifices himself to give Batman the strength to defeat his foes. Batman decides to end his dark reign by exposing himself to sunlight, disintegrating, and finding peace in death. As you can see, we have a really interesting character here, met his end at the end of 1998's Crimson Mist. But what if we had ChatGPT give us a story that involves both the Batman of the Red Rain universe and that of Buffy the Vampire Slayer? So I asked ChatGPT to give us a 5-issue series that centers around Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Batman of the Red Rain universe, is what I'll call it, working together to put an end to some threat. I asked it to detail how they would meet, involve characters from each universe, and have them both get into a confrontation with each other at the end, but both of them still alive. Also, provide a title for each issue, and maybe suggest an artist as well. So I asked it, I said, can you add some elements of conflict because Batman is a vampire? Clearly that's an important part of this story, and Buffy is a vampire slayer. So here is what we got. This is the finished product. Title of this story, Dark Reckoning, Slayer of the Night. Oh, that's good. That's good stuff. Night is spelled N-I-G-H-T, but I'll tell you right now, if this was my comic book, I'm putting K-N-I-G-H-T. Yeah, you know it. Okay, issue 1, titled Bats and Slayers. In the heart of Gotham City, a powerful and ancient vampire cult resurfaces, threatening to plunge the world into eternal darkness. Buffy, now a seasoned slayer, receives a vision of the impending doom and follows it, leading her to Gotham. At the same time, Batman investigates the strange occurrences that have plagued his city. Their paths cross as they face off against a horde of vampires. Misunderstanding each other's intentions, they clash briefly before realizing that they share a common enemy. Issue 1 sees Buffy and Batman reluctantly forming an uneasy alliance. In Issue 2, Shadows of the Past, as they delve deeper into the investigation, Batman and Buffy uncover the true mastermind behind the vampire cult, a resurrected and vengeful Count Dracula, who has merged with a powerful demon. To combat this new threat, Buffy's allies from the Scooby Gang, including Willow and Xander, join the fray, while Batman calls upon the resourceful Oracle. Together they piece together the dark ritual that brought Dracula back to life. However, tensions arise as Buffy struggles to trust Batman due to his vampiric nature, leading to clashes again between the two. I could see how issue 2 would end. Like Batman's laying on the ground and Buffy has the stake. Something along those lines. Issue 3. Speaking of lines, the name of this issue is Crossing the Line. The combined forces of Buffy and Batman's allies track down Dracula's lair, but they are intercepted by his vampiric minions. In a high-octane battle, the heroes fight side by side, showcasing their unique skills and teamwork. However, Buffy's distrust of Batman's vampire instincts creates friction, threatening to disrupt their collaboration. Batman's frustration with Buffy's inability to see beyond his vampiric nature also adds strain. As they confront their personal biases, a moment of vulnerability helps them see the common ground that they share. Issue 4, Crimson Convergence. Buffy and Batman infiltrate Dracula's stronghold, confronting the vampire lord in a climactic showdown. Buffy's supernatural strength and agility are matched by Batman's technical genius and advanced technology. Dracula's dark powers test their limits as they struggle to overcome his relentless assault. Their internal conflicts resurface during the battle, causing a moment of hesitation that almost cost them victory. With their allies providing support from the sidelines, the heroes must resolve their differences to defeat the formidable enemy. There's that word, formidable. Issue 5, Dawn of a New Day. As the battle reaches its climax, Buffy and Batman finally manage to weaken Dracula's hold on the demon within him. With a combined effort, they succeed in banishing the demon back to the netherworld, leaving Dracula weakened and defeated. Exhausted but victorious, Buffy and Batman confront their lingering tensions. They reflect on their journey and the lessons they've learned, realizing that their unique abilities make them stronger together. With the threat eliminated, they return to their respective worlds, forever connected by their shared experience. The series ends with Buffy and Batman watching over their cities, ready to face whatever darkness may come next. Artist suggestion, and this is a no-brainer, Greg Capullo. Yes, old Cap. His dynamic art style, this is according to ChatGPT, his dynamic art style and mastery of action sequences would bring the intense battles and character interactions to life in Dark Reckoning, Slayer of the Night. His ability to capture the gritty atmosphere of Gotham and Buffy's supernatural world would enhance the visual storytelling of this crossover series. Now, it's interesting that the title of this story is kind of similar to our first one, which was Hell's Reckoning. If you recall, our first story that we did, the first AI Rights, Hell's Reckoning, and now we have a story called Dark Reckoning, Slayer of the Night. I want to see if ChatGPT can elaborate on something here. A lot of times when they give you these, it's a 5-issue synopsis, it's going to truncate things into a paragraph and, of course, leave things pretty vague. Let me see if it can give us a specific situation as to how Batman and Buffy in issue 1 misunderstood each other's intentions. So let me ask ChatGPT. Hoo-wee, man, this thing writes. Okay, here we go. In issue 1, as Batman and Buffy cross paths for the first time, they both find themselves in a dark alley in the heart of Gotham City. Batman has been tracking a group of vampires that have been causing chaos in the city, and Buffy has been following a trail of supernatural disturbances that led her to the same location. As the two confront each other in the dimly lit alley, the tension is palpable. Buffy, accustomed to dealing with the supernatural, recognizes Batman's vampire nature and immediately assumes he's one of the vampires responsible for the recent attacks. Yeah, I could have went there too. She prepares to fight, ready to take down this new threat to her mission of protecting the innocent. But on the other hand, Batman, who has been investigating the murders and knows about Buffy's reputation as a slayer, mistakes her for one of Dracula's minions due to her vampire-slaying arsenal and aggressive stance. He views her as a threat to the city's safety and believes her to be another supernatural adversary he must eliminate. Their initial confrontation is fierce and intense, but with Buffy's acrobatics and supernatural strength matching Batman's combat skills and advanced technology. The battle is fueled by misunderstanding and assumptions, as neither of them knows the full story of the other's mission. The fight ends in a stalemate, with both of them taking a moment to catch their breath and assess the situation. It's only when they pause and exchange a few tense words that they begin to realize their mistake. Buffy questions Batman's motives, and he counters with inquiries about her affiliation with the vampire attacks. As they compare notes and realize that they both share the goal of stopping the vampire cult, they slowly start to see past their differences and consider the possibility of working together against a common enemy. This initial clash becomes a turning point in their relationship, setting the stage for their uneasy alliance in the face of a greater threat. Well, that's classic comic book stuff right there. Classic comic book. Misunderstanding. We gotta fight. But I liked how it definitely made sure to tell you that it's because of, the vampires and how each character views the other. Let's ask it for a name of the demon that has resurrected Dracula. What would you name the demon that has resurrected Dracula? Okay, the demon that has resurrected Dracula could be named Malgarath, the Blood Revenant. This name combines elements of darkness, blood, and a sense of ancient power, giving the demon an ominous and menacing presence that befits its role in bringing back the legendary Vampire Lord. Let's ask it, what other DC characters could potentially make an appearance in these issues? So I put, what other DC characters would be likely to appear in a story like this? Ooh, yeah. Okay. All right. Good stuff. Oh, here we go. Okay. Got 6 suggestions so far. They're all good. In a crossover story featuring Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Batman from the Red Rain universe, several other DC characters could make appearances to enhance the narrative and add depth to the conflict. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I've got 6 characters here. I'm going to give you a few seconds to come up with some characters you think that DC would definitely maybe toss an appearance in here from, and it would fit. I think I'm going to go from bottom to top. So number 6, it has listed Damian Wayne. In the Red Rain universe, Damian Wayne is depicted as a vampire and is aligned with Batman. His presence could add an additional layer of complexity, as he might be initially skeptical of Buffy's intentions and her role as a vampire slayer. His interactions with Buffy could lead to interesting character dynamics. Justice League Dark. This team of supernatural heroes, including characters like Deadman, Madame Xandu, and Shade the Changing Man, could join forces with Buffy and Batman to confront the rising darkness. Their combined skills would make them a formidable force against the demon and the resurrected Dracula. Swamp Thing. Alec Holland. The Swamp Thing has a deep connection to nature and the mystical forces of the universe. His involvement could be triggered by the disturbance caused by Malgorath's actions, drawing him into the conflict and bringing his elemental powers into play. Etrigan the Demon at number 3. Jason Blood, host of the demon Etrigan, might become involved due to his experience with the occult. Etrigan's unique abilities and connection to the supernatural realm could offer valuable insights into dealing with the threat posed by Dracula and Malgorath. Number 2, Zatanna. As a powerful sorceress, Zatanna could be brought in to assist in combating the supernatural elements of this story. Her magical abilities and knowledge of dark forces would be essential in unraveling the mystery behind Malgorath's resurrection of Dracula. And then number 1, should have seen this one coming, John Constantine. John Constantine, the occult detective and demonologist, could play a significant role. His expertise in dealing with supernatural threats could make him a valuable ally to both Buffy and Batman. He might offer guidance, provide information about the demon Malgorath, and aid in devising a plan to defeat Dracula. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. There you go, folks. AI writes Dark Reckoning, Slayer of the Night. Let's get into some bonus content here real quick. On an upcoming episode of Unspoken Issues, Dean, Derry, and myself are going to have a discussion about a story in the Spectre comics in the 90s called The Spear of Destiny. And essentially it is a story where the Spectre runs into Superman. Superman, wielding the Spear of Destiny, uses it against the Spectre. Great story, but within 5 minutes of me starting the episode, I got trailed off because this does not make the Unspoken Issues episode. So you're getting a double bonus right here. Bonus content for AI rights and bonus content for Unspoken Issues. The story goes like this. We're talking about the Spectre, and one of the things that I had to tell these guys was about a lady that my wife used to work with. They work at a Subway. And when I say Subway, I'm talking about a Subway sandwich shop, not an actual Subway, because we do not have those where we live. They were supposed to have an inspection the next day. When my wife would come home, she'd be like, she was telling me the Spectre's coming. Tomorrow comes the Spectre. The Spectre. Of course. Or as we're recording, we start throwing out the idea of DC's Spectre actually being a food inspector or a health inspector. So, oh man. This was what was going in my mind. If this was a thing, it's going to be a one-shot PSA comic. All right? When I say PSA, public service announcement, those comics you used to see in the 80s and the 90s that were very much surrounding a message. Talked about a few of those actually on the Source Material Comics podcast and the Unspoken Issues podcast. One of my favorite ones that I did a TikTok on, one of the first TikToks I ever did, and I do those very rarely now just because of the work that's involved. But one of the ones that I did was Daredevil versus Vapora, which was a one-shot comic. Vapora was a villain who essentially was gasoline vapors. And much of the comic is about how Daredevil is trying to stop this Vapora from causing destruction and burn homes. And throughout this book, you learn about where you're supposed to store gasoline and what you're supposed to do with it and what you don't do with it. There were a couple situations in the comic where some little kid got a hold of some gasoline and ended up catching on fire, and they burnt their hand, it burnt the house down because the person was using it to clean tile. There was another situation where the kid was like he was cleaning his dirt bike with gasoline inside the house. So anyway, the message was clear. Be smart about where you store your gasoline and don't use it in these situations. Prepare yourself for the Spectre subpar subway inspection. This one-shot comic, the Spectre takes on an unexpected role as a health inspector while maintaining his supernatural duties. The story kicks off with the Spectre sensing a disturbance in a local subway restaurant. As he materializes inside the restaurant, his eerie presence immediately captures the attention of the employees and customers. Stop what you're doing right now and just imagine this. I mean, but imagine the Spectre just showing up. You're ordering your sub, your meatball, mozzarella sub, your tuna, and all of a sudden, floating in the lobby, actually floating beside you, looking over the sneeze guard, is the Spectre. Yes, the Spectre. All right, let's continue. The Spectre, in his ethereal form, begins his inspection by examining the cleanliness and hygiene of the restaurant. Now, I've worked in the fast food restaurant. I just want to say, I don't know how many food inspections I've ever seen. I know I've seen a couple, but I could just see the Spectre. He's kind of flying around. He's looking at the nozzles on the pop dispenser, the soda dispenser. He's checking to make sure you're not cross-contaminating things. But in this story, he discovers multiple violations ranging from unsanitary food practices to improper storage of ingredients. As he investigates further, he uncovers neglected equipment, lack of proper hand washing procedures, and expired ingredients being used in the sandwiches. Now, mind you, this is God's wrath, all right? And lo and behold, is he going to dispense judgment on this subway as a good inspector would? Or should I say, as a good Spectre would? The restaurant staff, a mix of concerned and bewildered, watch as the Spectre's spectral form floats around, pointing out violations with an otherworldly certainty. Oh my gosh. An otherworldly certainty. Like it's, oh yeah, that's definitely, you're doing something wrong here. Oh man, this is classic. The tension in the restaurant grows as he catalogs these shortcomings, all while emphasizing the importance of food safety and cleanliness. As the Spectre completes his inspection, he gathers the staff and customers for a stern but crucial lesson. He speaks of the shared responsibility to ensure food safety for both the well-being of customers and the reputation of the establishment. His message carries a strong PSA element, reminding everyone that proper hygiene, adherence to regulations, and respect for health guidelines are vital in any food-serving business. The comic concludes with the Spectre's ethereal form departing from the restaurant, leaving behind an aura of introspection among the staff and customers. Oh, this is the icing on the cake, guys. Before I read this last part, the prompt for ChatGPT was, give me the plot synopsis to a one-shot comic featuring the Spectre, who also happens to be doing the job of a health inspector. In this comic, the Spectre has arrived at a subway and is finding multiple violations. Make sure the comic has a bit of a PSA element with a message for the readers at the end and what that message should be. The last panel, this is straight from ChatGPT, folks. The last panel displays a message. Just as the Spectre ensures justice, we too must ensure the justice of good health and safety in our food establishments. That's the last panel. Message for readers. The message of this one-shot comic is to emphasize the significance of food safety and hygiene in all food-related businesses. It serves as a reminder that upholding proper food handling practices, cleanliness, and adherence to health regulations are crucial, not only for the well-being of customers, but also for maintaining a positive reputation. The Spectre's role as a health inspector underscores the idea that even supernatural entities recognize the importance of ensuring the health and safety of everyone. The comic encourages readers to be vigilant about food safety and to hold establishments accountable. Hold establishments accountable for maintaining high standards. Guys, I don't know. I mean, does it get better than that right there? It can. That was just a silly silly idea that I threw in here, and it did not disappoint. All right, we're going to wrap up. I can't thank you guys enough for listening to this goofiness. Listen, I'm on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and you can find the source material Twitter out there at SourceMattCast. SourceMattCast. Should be able to find us pretty easily. Throw me a prompt. I'm here to do your bidding. I can't wait to see some of the silliness that you guys have in mind. Let's see what ChatGPT can cook up for us. Make sure to check out the other shows here on the Source Material Comics Podcast Network. We got Unspoken Issues. We've got the Source Material Comics Podcast. And now we have AI Rights. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.